Yeah, so till now we went through different topics in terms of statements. We started with data statement, then in file, then input, and post that the data line statement. Okay. So we went to different options. Okay, options of in file, input, and file put, right? Statements o- in terms of their options. So now we're gonna deal with how to read the data. Till now we went through uh, the ways to read data. Okay, and what are the statements we need to use to read data. And now we're gonna see when we have a different data, which mean which is not aligned. I mean maybe align or not. Which has some kind of a different characterization, different characters to read it. Okay, whenever we want to implement some kind of length to it, length to it in formats. Okay, it's data types, all those. To change the data types of our data. So all these things, we're gonna cover it in this attributes of variables. Okay. So I can say simply, it is the other, so it is the other hand, okay? It can be a right hand to the variables, okay? Yeah. So we just give some flavor to variables, okay? So now till now, we went through a single flow of, of how to read variables, and now we are adding a flavor to the variables in reading data, okay? So in terms of attributes, we mainly deal with the data types, length of it, label, informats, and formats. Okay. So let's go through the data types. So what is data type? So basically, I know data type is something that it indicates what kind of variable is it. Can be a character, date type, or numeric. Okay. If it is a character, we use a symbol called dollar to reference it. Otherwise, it will be a numeric. On more specific, if we specify a dollar, it'll that character can read both character data, character, and numeric data. If it won't specify this dollar symbol, it should it can only read numeric data. But if we pass character data, it will end up giving a missing value, which will be a dot or a period. Okay. Yeah. So in terms of in terms of data, character data is always, left align, which you know it, and numeric is always right align. So whenever we have a missing value in terms of character data, it will be a missing value, or and if it is a numeric missing value, it will have a period. Right, ma'am? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. If you see here, there is a simple program where where we are reading the data by just handing over the by just giving a small options to these inputs like dollar just to make sure that we read the character data. Okay, now let's go to the length statement. Okay, so whenever we want to specify a length, okay, a length to a particular data, okay, a length to a particular variable, okay, we use this length statement. So it's simply in simple words, it specifies the number of bytes for storing a variable values. Okay. So we can assign the length for variables. So in this way. So length, so the syntax is length variable name. Okay. Yeah. So that is syntax. So let's see how this length works. If we see here, sorry. Yeah. If we see here, we have quite a big names, quite a big names in terms of their width. I don't mean I see these names are more than 8 characters of length, right? If I just simply run this script, so in our data, the name will get truncated. Okay. So in order to avoid that, what we use it is length statement. Length statement. So we use it, always make sure that we use length statement before the in file statement. I'll tell you why. Okay. if I run this one. So length is something. So length, name. If you want to specify, as it is a character data, I simply mention dollar its length dot dollar length dot. Okay. If you see, I get the data. Name, ID, sex, age, sal. If you observe carefully here, okay, we got the first, we got the first variable as name. But as per the lining, as per the data lines, the first variable is ID. Got it, ma'am? We see the first variable is ID, second is name, sex, and then
Yeah.
cell. But in the output, we have first as name. Okay. So what happens here is whenever you specify any kind of this attribute in terms of length statement before in file, okay. So that particular variable will come to the first of the data set, and the rest will follow, as per the input as per the input statement. Right, ma'am?
Okay.
Yeah, I'll tell you why. So yeah, you see here again, again I want to specify name dollar 10 dot. So previously I specified 17. I want to specify like name dollar 10 dot. If you see, I got I have a truncation of data here. See, multiple lengths were specified for both variable name by input data set. This can cause truncation of data. Okay,
Mm.
we see it. The thing is, so previously it was 17. So it is, I mean, we specified more than what is required for the name column. We got the data without truncation. But now we specified another length because already length is assigned to this name. Okay, if you see here, already this length is assigned to the name. We see here length is name. So name length is 17 characters, 17 bytes. Okay, so already length is assigned to this name. But again, what we're doing, we are assigning it again. So what happens if you assign it again? It will replace the previous one. You see here, length got 10, right, ma'am? So it got
Yeah.
replaced. We get a warning because we have specified twice. The above, it's already specified, and it tells you that why do you want to specify. If you specify again, now you may lose some data. So as the warning, we have lost some data, right? So always
Yeah.
make sure that whenever you use length, make sure it is above the actual data. Okay. So whenever you use length, it should be before the set statement and before the infile statement. That's because
Okay.
if you see here at line 49, okay, length statement always should be written before the input or set statement. Okay. Otherwise, the no when the input executes, whatever the length is there in the default, that will come into output. Okay. So what happens here is, okay, in terms of length, so this length should be read before the PDV. Okay, no, or before the input buffer. Okay. So we have in the input buffer, right? No, we get all the data. We get all the data. Remember, ma'am, input buffer and PDV.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, we get all the what do you call it? Column names or the variable names. Okay. So what happens? The default is 8. Okay. What we need to do is fine, fine. I'll just show you. What happens if you apply this data lines after the in front of the input. See here, length of character variable has already been set. Use length statement at the very first step. Okay. So what happens here is before this gets executed, which means in the execution phase, which is the which starts from the input buffer. Okay. Before the input buffer or at the start no, or at the start of the input buffer or the PDV. Okay, I can say more precisely before the PDV. So whenever these input statement get executed, which means all our variable names get executed, which in turn means all these uh, lengths or the informats specified to these variable names will get intact to the variable names, right? So we for instance, these names n, sex, age, salary, and ID will have 8 characters of length, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you don't specify length before this input, before this input, what happens is, this gets executed, okay, and then our length statement cannot override the previous one. Got it, ma'am?
Okay.
Yeah, ma'am. You remember the input buffer and PDV?
Yeah.
Tell me, can you just tell me, what happens in input buffer? What happens at input buffer and PDV?
In the input buffer, the if each line, each observation in the data gets iterated.
Okay.
In the PDV, the column names get displayed into the output.
Okay. I
Each
mean,
column name is being read,
assigned to the data. You mean to say,
is
right?
assigned to the data. Yeah.
Right. Right. So now you said at the input buffer at the PDV, these column names get assigned to the data, right? Okay.
Yes, yes.
What does it mean? So, how does these get assigned? It get assigns when when the column names have specific lengths, right? Only when
Yes.
only when it can assign, right? Which means
Yeah.
PDV has read the variable names and the data, the record data, right? Only then the
Okay.
records get assigned to the column names, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So what we want, so what happens is, once everything gets assigned, length cannot override the existing the assigned value,
Existing column. Yeah.
assigned length column. Okay. So assigned
Okay.
length is 8. Okay. And if you
Okay.
because that's the default length. Okay.
Yeah.
But if you specify length statement again, so it cannot override the existing length statement.
Default.
Yeah, default
Yeah.
one. Default in the sense when whatever you give, whatever you give at the input statement.
Okay.
No, if you have, if you haven't given any kind of input statement, input statement length. I mean, yesterday, remember, right? We have given $10 dot, no, $20 dot in terms of informat width. Remember, ma'am?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So if we specify giving $10 dot or $20 dot, so there's a kind of a informat width
Yes.
of the record.
Okay.
Yeah. So whichever you give, I mean, either you give it or not, the default is, if you give it,
Default is 8.
yeah, if you give it, it'll be the specified length. If you won't give it, the default is 8. So once it gets assigned, length cannot overwrite it. So in order to have the length, in order to specify the length before, before this gets into PDV, before our data gets into PDV, okay. So before the data gets into PDV, we have to make sure the name is assigned with the length of $17. $17.
Okay.
Got it, ma'am?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the reason we mentioned length as the first statement after the data step. Sorry, after the data statement.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, that's the reason. Yeah. And again, label.
So where the ID went in the output?
Yeah. So ID will be on the second one because so what happens here is,
Okay.
yeah, ID second, because what happens here is whenever you mention some kind of variable in the length statement, okay.
First
So
it comes.
yeah, by default that variable will come at the first of the
Position.
output.
Yeah.
So yeah, first position of the output, and the rest of the variables will follow the input positioning.
Okay.
Okay, input statement positioning, which is ID, sex, age, and sal.
Okay.
Yeah. Next one, it is label statement. So labels are something that if you want to assign some kind of labeling to the variable names. Okay, I mean you can say variable names have already you can say uh you know variable we can assign the variable names, right? We can directly assign the variable names. So what is the need of label? So label is something that to have more specific value. Okay, to have more specific value. So what happens sometimes is, you know, in terms of in real time, we have large codes with different data sets. Okay, what
Okay.
happens is, if you, for example, I want to change the this ID, so this name to be EMP name, employee name. Okay, so if I change this variable name to employee name, and I use this data set to combine this data set to with some other data sets. Okay, but some other data set have ID, name, sex, age, and salary. Okay, but I have changed this name to employee name. Okay, so what happens there is, as the variables doesn't match, we cannot combine. No, we cannot combine those two data sets. Getting my point, ma'am?
Yeah, yes, yes.
Yeah. That's the reason we use label names. So label is something that labels are nothing to do with the coding, ma'am. It is simple that it is a basic statement that if you want to have more specification on what the input names, on what the input variables have, I mean, to specify more, because name can be anything. Name can be a person name. Okay, name can be any kind of data name. But specifically, it is being a firm. It is being a company. So here name means employee name, but not a normal person name. Right, ma'am?
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, based on the company. For example, if it is a no, if it is a political party, okay. We mention name in the input statement, but while labeling it, we mention politicians, okay, names of politicians. Right, ma'am?
Yeah, yeah.
To be more specific on what kind of name is it and sex. So I know I mentioned sex here. So here I mentioned gender. So what is it? Gender. And again, I mentioned salary here. So what is salary? It is an income. Okay. If I run this, then you get to know more clear. Yeah. You see here, I have name. I have EMP name. Label as EMP name. Name as name. The variable name remains the same, but the label, no, we have changed it to EMP name. EMP name, which is the employee name.
Okay.
Again, fix. So we have label it as gender.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, just take an example, labeling in the sense, okay. For instance, um, okay, we have a Britannia biscuit. Okay, biscuit packet. Let's take it again. No, a biscuit packet. Some kind of a company called. So, no, it is the Britannia biscuit. So, Britannia belongs to, I guess it is a company from, Hindustan Lever. Sorry, Hindustan Unilever, I guess. So, okay, the company name is, Hindustan Unilever, but the labeling for this, for this biscuit packet is Britannia. But Britannia won't be the company name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the same thing here. The same thing here. Because what happened? Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's because it's more easy to understand. Instead of I put Hindustan Unilever on the biscuit packet, it is not that easy to understand, right? Right, ma'am?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's simple that I have put Britannia as the as a labeling for the biscuit packet, and the company no, the no, the company remains the same. It is the Hindustan Unilever. The same thing here. Name is something that it gives you an overall picture, but what kind of name is it? As the data belongs to a company or a firm, so we give them what we call the people in the firm as employees. Right, ma'am? That is labeling. And again, this is also labeling. Okay. And here again, MP name, gender, income. Yeah. Yeah. We see carefully. We have ID sex, ID name sex agent cell, but we have labeled name sex agent cell. You see here, we got name sex agent cell at the first, and the rest followed the positioning of the input statement. Right, ma'am? Can you tell me
Yeah,
why
yeah.
is it? What happened here?
Because first we have given the name, sex, and labeling.
Yeah, exactly. We in the label statement we use name, sex, and salary, right?
The
You know,
remaining follows.
yeah. The remaining follows, and what are the whatever the remaining are there in the input statement, those will follow.
Last time they have moved this one to forward and they.
Yeah. So this happens, in terms of these statements like length and label. Whenever you mention some kind of a variable to it or to them, okay, they comes first in the output data set, and the rest will follow the input statement positioning. Okay, and on the other hand, whenever you mention, okay, whenever you mention label, okay, label name equal to, okay, you want label name in name equal to null, and gender and sex equal to gender, and salary equal to null. So what happens here is the label will have, will get the label name to be the variable name. Let's show you. You see, we mention label statement, label space, the variable name equal to null value in quotes. But what we get? Label name to be the actual variable name. Yes, salary. Got it, ma'am? Clear on this?
Yeah, yeah. Clean.
Okay. Next is informant statement. Okay. Yeah. So informats are something that yesterday we have discussed on it, but okay. So let's go into a deep of in depth of informat. So information are something that whenever we want to read data, a specific data from the input statement to the from the input statement in terms of data, only to read the data from the data lines or the external file, we use informats. Okay. So informats can be used separately apart from the input statement or in the input statement. If you use separately as the if you use separately with for the variable as info as the as informats, we have to mention informat statement, which is informat variable name, the informat type. Okay, so that is syntax. See the syntax, ma'am. Informat with the dot, w dot, which is informat with the dot. So let's see what does we have in format. So mainly we have quite a few informat categories. One is character informat, numeric informat, date time, date time informats, column binary informats, user defined informats. Okay, so let's go into character informats. It treats character data into character variables. Okay, so namingly these. So normally what we do, to read character data, we mention dollar. Okay. If the data is more than 8 characters, we simply mention $10 dot. Okay. If the data is more than 8 characters, we can mention $20 dot. If you want to specifically mention dollar char, it will just mention it is a character data. That's it. There is nothing in it. Okay. So let's see this. You know what this programming is. So dollar, we have mentioned in formats. So whenever these, whenever we put some kind of a some kind of modifiers with with the widths, so those are called informats in the input statement only. Okay. So here we used an modifier with $18 dot, which is an informat with a width of 18, which is to read the data. See here. Got it, no? ID, name, team, start by and start and end byte. So I got name to be, if you see, where is it? Where is it? Where did it go? Yeah. If you see here, name, if we got length as 18 characters. Type is a character. Okay. Let's see the numeric informats. Okay. So now numeric informats will be basically whenever you want to read data with some comma or dollar symbol, we use some kind of a numeric informant. So this is a straightforward one. So you want to read data in terms of comma. I mean, if you see here, if I don't mention this comma, so see what happens. So I mean, if I don't mention comma here, will this no 50,000 be read into the salary, ma'am? Can we read this? No, can we read this 50,000 into the salary? Because this being complete numeric, right? Will this numbers be fed to the salary in the output data set? Hello, am I audible, ma'am?
Yeah. Yes, yes, you're audible.
So, uh,
So comma will not be displayed.
you mean comma will not be displayed and the rest will be displayed, right?
Yes, yes.
So how about I place an character here? So will I be still getting
No, no, no. It will not read. It will not read comma also.
okay? You mean to say it will exclude e and comma and it will give us the 50,000?
It will not give the output, I think.
Okay, I mean you mean, so what will I be getting in the under the sal column?
Period.
Exactly. Yeah. Because this being a no, this being a special character. Okay. Remember, ma'am,
Okay.
special
Yes,
characters
yes.
a numeric can only read the numeric values, but no other
Not the special
values.
thing.
No other
Yes.
values. I mean, no other values means can be characters or special characters. Okay. If you run this, we see we got periods, right?
Yeah.
So we use comma here. Why? We want to make sure the data is read properly in terms of comma. Okay. So it avoided, I mean, it read the comma, it avoided it. So we got 50,000. Got it, ma'am? Clear, ma'am?
So if we want to display that comma also,
That comes under formats. So I told you, right?
okay,
Oh, whatever you mention in the input, it will be a in format, which is to read the data. That's it.
okay,
Okay. Once it reads, it no, it displays data normally in a simple normal format. Okay.
okay,
But even if you want to specify this comma into the output data set, we have to use formats where formats are nothing but they are used to write the data to the output data set. Okay. We
okay,
no, no, we can't deal with that. No, it is after informats we get formats. Okay.
okay.
Yeah. And here, if you see, I have specifically mentioned informat instead of mentioning here in the input statement. What happened here? Okay. Sorry, my bad. Yeah. Now instead of mentioning specifically here in the input statement, as per syntax, I have mentioned informat specifically, which is informat salary. So what kind of informat I am giving? Comma 6 dot. Both will give me the same result. Right, ma'am?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is informant is a specific syntax which is followed for each and every variable. We can either follow that or we can include those in the input statement. Either we can include the what kind of width or, what kind of width we want to include in the either in the input statement, or we can or we can call it using the informat statement. Anything is fine. Okay. Next one, I have a dollar symbol here. I want to read that. I simply mention dollar 5 dot. So I get here 5,000. Clear, ma'am?
Yeah.
Yeah. And next one. Second, ma'am. Yeah. Yeah. You see here, in format, we can either write with input statement after the variable, or we can write as a separate statement. So after the variable means after this sal is the variable, it is post the variable. Okay. Or else, we can write like this in a separate statement, like in this way, at line 205, in this way, as a separate statement. Either way is fine. There's no harm in it. Okay. Both will give you the same result. Got it, ma'am?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So you get $5,000.
Rajiv, why is it six, like comma $6? Sorry, maybe I missed something.
No, it is something that we're just mentioning the width, ma'am. That's it. Width of it. So the highest width is, we think the highest width is 6 digits. We count here.
Oh, oh,
Three,
digits.
yeah, four. Sorry, my bad. We count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 digits. Sorry, 6 characters.
Mm-hmm.
I want to read all four. Sorry, all six. Okay.
Okay.
So this will avoid both comma and dollar.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. If I mention 5 hours instance, I mention 4. You say I got only 50.
Okay.
Yeah. The data got truncated.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Right. Eventually, what happens is it takes 2 characters for dollar and comma, and the rest
Mm-hmm.
2 characters for the actual numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So always make sure that just to, in either you can mention dollar 8 dot, it'll be the same, or else you can mention how many values are there in this particular data, those many values.
Okay.
Yeah. Next thing. See here what happens. So we have data in terms of decimals, but in dollar symbol, but in dollars. Okay. I mentioned dollar 9.2. Here I mentioned dollar 10.2. You see what happens? If you see, if you observe carefully, tell me what happens here, ma'am. I mentioned 9.2 at the input statement. I mentioned 10.2 at the format. So what is the difference between input and format here?
The digit number is different, 9 there and 10 here, but we have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we already have 9, so should work, right?
Exactly. It should work. Main thing is, I just want the difference of what is the input which I gave and what is the format here. No, why?
The output we get the dollar symbol and decimals.
Hmm. Right. The thing is, I said right previously, format is something that to write data in whatever we want. Input, whichever format, whichever width you give it, it will be treated as in format, which will eventually just only read the data. That's it. Okay. So for instance,
Okay.
if I just apply this, you see we got 50,000.55.
Yeah. Also for with format, we will get the dollar sign.
So format, what does it do? Formats, it writes the data to the output data set. Okay.
Okay.
Let's see what happens here. Yeah. We see here.
Oh,
So
okay.
in the in so what I have mentioned, I want to make sure to have dollar symbols intact to the data. Okay. So I have given format, not the informat. Format salary dollar 10.2. I know I just increase the data to I just increase the length, the width to one byte. You see the salary, it will be okay. So it will be eight of length, but but format is 10.2.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next one. Date and time formats. Okay, these are little important because they pose very confusing issue in terms of, I mean, SAS coding while dealing with date and time formats. I mean, informats in both formats. Okay, so date and time informats. So here we are dealing with informats. So what does it do? So simply it rates data values into variable representing, whenever we want to read date and time into, from the data. Okay, we mention date and time informats. Okay, so let's see. If you see here, we have only ID, name, age, sex, salary, and date of birth. So for DOB, I haven't mentioned dollar here, but I have character values here.
Yeah.
Right, run this. No, I will be getting periods in the DOB. Right, but as you know, okay, before SAS dates are what type, ma'am? Ma'am,
Numeric.
SAS. Yeah, exactly. SAS dates the numeric type. But we have
Mhm.
mentioned dollar here, sorry, character here. So we have to mention the particular informat to read the
Yeah.
data. Okay. So we have quite a few informats. I'll just show you what are those. Yeah. So we have quite a few informats where we have date 7 dot, date 9 dot, DDMM Y by 8 dot, DDMM 10 dot, any date DT, time dot, date time dot. Okay.
Mhm.
So date 7 dot something that we want to read data in this way. 29 Jan 10. We count these bytes, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Total 7 bytes of data. Total 7 characters of data. So the other reason we have 7 date 7 dot. So date 7 dot will read data in terms of 2 characters of date, 3 characters of month, and last 2 characters of year. Okay, as we are in the 20th century, sorry, 21st century, it'll just give you the last 2 characters of the year, which means it will be, oh no, either if we are in 2025, it will give you 25.
Mhm.
Yeah. So here it is date 9 dot, which so this particular date will have 9 characters of length, which is 29, 2 characters of date, 3 characters of month, and 4 characters of year. It will give complete year. Okay. And next one is DD by 8 dot, which means 2 characters of DD, 2 characters of month, 2 characters of year, separated by either slash or hyphen or colon.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And again, we have 10 dot. So 10 dot means we count here, it will give it will give the full year.
Full year.
Full year. If you see 4, 2, 8, and slashes 2, total 10. Got it, ma'am?
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, it's time. Time will give you 2 points of 2 characters of hours, 2 characters of minutes, 2 characters of seconds, including 2 characters of colon. Okay. And this
Yeah.
date time dot. Date time now, will give you 7 characters of date and 6 characters of time with 3 characters of colon.
Yeah.
So this is the data format, and this is something that this is any dt. Whenever you don't remember what kind of date format it is, you can simply use this date any dt, any dt, any
Oh, it
dt.
will automatically read the date.
Date, yes. It should. Yeah. So these are namingly few frequently used date informats. Okay, I mean date, time, and date time informats. Let's see in the code part. Yeah. So now we want to read the date of birth, because in the date of birth I have, in the DOB I have data in terms of dates. Okay. So what we should do? So the dates are in this way. Uh, First two are date value, second are days value, second are month, and last are year. So we mentioned here date 9 dot. Okay, as the informat. So I get date. Sorry. Okay. Anyways, yeah. So what happens here is, uh, we have separate topic for dates, but it's okay. So let's be it. Oh yeah. So what happens here is, we are only reading the data. Okay, we are only reading the data in terms of dates. Okay, but so we got date in terms of numeric value. Okay, a numeric value. So what happens here is, normally SAS date starts from Jan 1st, 1960, ma'am. Okay, Jan 1st, 1960. Second, yeah. So it starts from Jan 1st, 1960. So from that day till whatever days we have mentioned, whatever date we have mentioned here. So all those number of days data, no days will be calculated. Okay, and displayed in the output. Okay, as this being informat, as this being informat, it only reads data, but in terms of displaying it, we need to mention our own format. Right now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So just remember this little important. SAS dates starts from uh, Jan 1960. So it can only count from 1960 as positive dates. So beyond 1960, it will count them to be a negative dates. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Even this one the same. See, you see here we still got the number of days. In order to convert these number of days to the actual date value, we have to mention format, because what does format do? Format writes our data to the output data set. Right, ma'am?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you see mention anything here. Yeah, all will be same, ma'am. There is nothing in it. If you see the date of birth, it will be in the numeric column. Sorry, numeric data type.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So either we can give in terms of format a separate statement for this DOB, or else no, we can mention this date 9 here itself. Post the variable name. No, either is fine. Both gives you the same result. Okay. So here I mentioned DOJ, date of joining DD by 10 dot. Okay. So I got number of days here. Yeah, all these are same. So only the difference is usage of different date formats. You see, I have mentioned it in a separate row, separate statement. So it be read as the date value. Okay, I'll show you this. So I'll show you this. So what happens exactly? How the date flows. The format that's for. Okay. You see here, it worked, right? In it we have 12/1/2011, 15/31/25, and 8, right? So same
Yeah.
way here. This is 8/3. Yeah, it is 8/3. The same way. So we got DOG displayed as the actual date value. You see here, what happened? Numeric, we have mentioned a format to it. In previously, we have mentioned a format to it. Format is empty. So it will read the data as a date value, but still it be numeric. If you see, it is mentioned as a format, and the symbol of it got changed to a date, no, to a calendar, right? Previously, it used to be like this 1, 2, 3 numeric value, but if you see here, it changed to a calendar. Here, ma'am, DOJ.
Yeah.
Getting it, ma'am? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Here again, date time. Let me see if I mentioned here, um, date value and again time value. If you want to read this entire on a whole, it'll read in seconds, I guess. Seconds or minutes. Can be anything. Okay. If I want to convert the same thing into an actual date time value, I'll simply mention format. Okay. Got it, ma'am, here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So all the same, ma'am. All are the same usage of different formats. Okay. Let's yeah. Yeah. Any questions, ma'am, in terms of today's session? From until now, until in formats.
No,
Clear,
it's good.
Rajiv. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So tomorrow, we're gonna go through the rest of attributes, ma'am. We have column binary formats. We have formats. We have how to create user defined in formats. Okay.
Okay.
And the rest of and we have few other formats to discuss. Yeah. Yeah, quite a few, I guess. Format statements, and again examples of it. Yeah. 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 I guess tomorrow, we'll complete this sheet.
Okay.
Yeah. Any questions, ma'am, until now? Any questions? Anything, you want to, you want me to repeat? Clear, ma'am, today?
Clear. Yeah, clear.
Okay, ma'am. Then, we'll just wrap this session. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much,
Thank
ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah.
you, Raj.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.